We wanted a visual for those easily forgotten, the elderly, the dying, the incarcerated. We wanted to make them visible to all, that you might never forget them. We want you to be touched by their lives and their grace, as we three have been.
Good evening. My name is Suzanne Washburn. When I was in my 40s, my children were getting older, and I wondered, what am I going to do when I grow up? And then one day, I read an article about a hospice chaplain, and she had helped a father reconcile with his daughter before dying. And that inspired me. I started volunteering at the local hospice, and then I've pursued education and training to become a chaplain. Many of us are uncomfortable around the dying. It brings us face to face with our own mortality. We might feel inadequate. We might wonder what to say. And there are times when it's appropriate to say, "I'm sorry, please forgive me. I forgive you." Sometimes we have heartfelt sentiments of, "Thank you," and "I love you." But most of all, I tell people, just show up. There are no perfect words, but your presence will speak volumes. In hospice, we talk about dying with dignity. But the truth is, there's not a whole lot of dignity when our physical bodies are in decline. Rather, I find hope in the words of the author and Dr. Sherwin Newland. He wrote, "The greatest dignity to be found in death is the dignity of the life that preceded it." In this way, may each of us, with our lives and our service, may each of us find dignity. Thank you.
My name is Olivia Wallace. I am a compassionate advocate and caregiver for the elderly. I was raised in the UU Church of Eureka Springs, Arkansas. When I was a young girl, I took care of my grandmother who suffered from Alzheimer's disease. My desire to improve the life for the elderly grew out of my fascination and love. I have since worked in nursing homes and other healthcare organizations, taking care of other people's grandmothers and grandfathers. Last year, I became a certified assisted living director for the state of California. I have come to know and witness that the well-being of elders is directly related to the actions and inactions of the people around them providing care. Buddhist activist Thich Nhat Hanh once said, "One word, one action, one thought can reduce another person's suffering and bring that person joy." I have had the pleasure of developing an intergenerational pen pal program between elderly women and the 3rd grade in my community. If one word can bring joy, imagine how much an entire letter and a new friendship can do. My vision is to bring multiple words, actions, and thoughts into developing more joyful, holistic care for the elderly. All of us need to be taken care of at different times during our lives. We owe our existence, in fact, to our loving and nurturing parents. Caring for the elderly is one way to say thank you to those who came before us and to realize our interconnectedness. Thank you.
I was called by love to serve those our society had taught me to fear and to loathe. I was called by love to be present to their suffering, their many migrations, immigrations, negations, their mental illness from being ostracized, rejected, othered. I was called by love to have compassion for their suffering, to witness, to acknowledge, to name. I was called by love to share empathy as a legitimate way of knowing. That phrase I first heard from Carol Lee Flinders one of the authors of Laurel's Kitchen, and later a book about women mystics who understands that our need for being fed, physical and spiritual, is a collective act. And I need you in that collective act, all of you, regardless of what your calling is, following the forces of love that urge us to urge all, to love those who are incarcerated, understand their needs, meet their needs, address their grief, and address systemic injustices, encouraging those around you to dip a little deeper into the flowing rivers of fire, spirit, and love, which includes all and transforms all.